Hey, why you? You're me. Just kidding. No,
No.
Spider. I'm asking.
Well,
I
hey
don't know.
guys.
I don't know what you're talking about.
These are my female variants. Yeah, they are my because they're Filipinos.
Hang on. There's lipstick in my teeth, bro. Hold on.
So we got a Spider
No.
Gwen, and we have Silk, and I'm Filipino Spider Man, aka I'm Amadeus Cho or Asian Spider Man.
No.
But yeah, guys, welcome. Welcome to our podcast of the Buttery Show. Joining me today is my awesome co-hosts Jen, aka Pinky, aka Genesis. What's up?
Hey guys, welcome. Glad to
And
be
then my
here.
successor and who I'm make sure that she calms me down every time I go crazy. Nadine.
Of course. Welcome. Hi. Good to see you. I have like a
Ooh, I
spider
love the
eyeliner
makeup.
today.
Oh, I like that. It's really
Wow.
cool.
Very
Awesome.
creative.
I literally just did it an hour ago.
Oh shit, that's
Really
cool.
nice.
Thanks.
Nice.
I watched a TikTok and I said, you know what? I can do this myself. And I
Good.
kind of did.
Awesome.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks.
So yeah, guys, you look at the title. We are discussing Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. It
Mhm.
is one of Sony's most iconic animated films, and also one of the few films that won Academy Award. And keep in mind, this film was not supposed to be successful. Like this film was basically they put that in the bookshop, like you know what, just make it. We don't care about it. But then what they didn't realize this would actually be the best film that came out. This came out during I think it was Far From Home,
Yeah.
and
No,
this
it's
actually was more
2018.
successful. Well, box office wise, no, but like review wise, it was,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still and it's considered, I think the best Spider-Man film to this date. I think it's like well, No Way Home's like close to it, but this film is considered the best Spider-Man film
In terms
to a
of
lot of fans.
animation.
Yeah.
And animation is very unique.
It's
There.
so sick. It's very revolutionary as far as an animated style goes.
Exactly.
Wow.
So this film is based on the Spider-Verse storyline that was created by Dan Slott. This film came
Ooh.
out in 2018, same year as Far From Home. Wait, was it Far From 2018? Yeah, Far From 2018.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This film starred Shamik Moore, who played Miles Morales, Jake Johnson, Haley Steinfeld as Spider Gwen. Oh, Jake
Iconic.
Johnson. Yes, Jake Johnson was actually Peter Parker. Marshall Ali as the Prowler,
Uncle
and
Eric.
Brian Tyrese Henry, Lily Tomlin, Luna Lauren Velez, John Mulaney, Kamika Glenn, Nicolas Cage as Spider Noir,
Wow.
We love.
and Lou Schreiber. So, yeah, this film was a lot of stars. Basically, it was funny. It was kind of funny. Half of these stars are now technically in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And that means Penny Parker, right?
Yeah, Penny Parker's in this
Who
film
was
too.
Who was he co-created by?
Tell me, 'cause I don't know.
MCR. My
Who?
Chemical Romance.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah. Which means
So
one
keep in
of
mind,
you was-
guys. Jen is actually our huge comic book
Ugh.
nerd for
We
Spider-Man.
love.
She's more than the modern. I'm more into the Stan Lee, Steve Ditko era. She knows more the modern era. So
Mhm.
anything that's updated Spider-Man comic wise, she knows. That's why I got
Love
her.
you, Dan Slott. Thank you for coming back to the Spider-Verse comics. See you.
Exactly. So Spider-Verse. So again, Spider-Verse is actually a multiverse film. It actually introduced the multiverse to the whole general audience. And like again, this film was not supposed to succeed. It was just like a
leak.
crap. This film was supposed to be just a cash grab for kids, but they didn't realize that the directors for this film actually got writers. Basically, it's like Lion King. Like remember with Disney, they didn't expect Lion King to be like successful.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing as happening with Sony. Like this, and funny enough, this film's actually getting a long-awaited sequel,
Hell yeah,
which is
it
gonna be in
is.
2 parts. That's
Hell
right.
yeah, it's getting a sequel, baby.
Yes.
It's so good.
So let me ask you this. My first question for you guys is, when this film was announced, what were your thoughts about it? Starting with Jen.
All right. Well, first off, I'm wearing the Superior shirt because
Hell
for
yeah.
anyone who doesn't know, Dan Slott, the best Spider-Man comic book writer currently.
Ditko. Just kidding.
Currently, I thank God for coming back. Dan Slott finally came back to comics, Spider-Man comics, but he was the one to introduce into the Spider-Verse, and Also, some of his work got leaked. I think that's. I don't know if it was true, but you remember how some of his work got leaked in terms of production.
Yeah.
So that's what I was talking about. So I'm happy because I thought that once it got leaked, right, his work or any of like of the show ideas, they would scrap it. But I'm glad they did not scrap this because a lot of times when you leak something, like Sony has a thing where they'll scrap it once it like, becomes leaked. So it's nice to see something different. I love the Spider Verse because it gives you factually correct comics, and also what I like about it is like it shows your favorite characters coming together in the power of teamwork.
I thought you were going to say the power of love.
Power of love.
Well, you know what I mean, teamwork.
Yes.
But I genuinely am excited. I love the way they portray the Miles Morales instead of the typical Peter Parker because we all grew up with Peter Parker. But for me, I like this movie because it caters towards not just for us, but for a younger audience, the next generation, meaning like Miles Morales, because it's the power of mentorship. So, yeah, nothing much I can say other than phenomenal work. I am happy that you never scrapped this idea despite the whole leak. I love it. Power of teamwork. I can't wait to see how it's gonna unfold in the next movie. I need Silk to come back or 616, but that's it.
Okay. So Nadine, same question.
First of all,
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Need-
Her poster.
need
Yeah.
I say more?
Oh my god, I like your background better
Oh,
than mine.
thank you. Need I say more? He is Miles Morales is my favorite Spider-Man. Point blank, period. Peter Parker's, all of you are second to Miles Morales and everyone into Spider-Verse. But, Miles Morales, I feel like Miles Morales is the most relatable. In my personal opinion, I related to him the most because I saw most of my general experience as an immigrant kid. And as a child of immigrants, like in Miles Morales, because he has a Puerto Rican mom and a black dad, and he has to find his way, to live up to great expectations, to live up to the great expectations set upon him by his family, by the other spider people. And he just had to find out for himself what it is that he wanted to do as Spider-Man and who he wanted to be. I do have a story on how I even got to watch this movie in the first place. Okay, so first of all, I was already at the time. I think I was tired of the Spider-Man movies and the constant reboot, from Garfield to Tom Holland. I think I just did not appreciate it. I didn't have the tastes that I do now. So at the time, I was like, really another Spider-Man movie? Okay. And the only poster and the only advertisement I ever saw of it was a poster of Peter Porker. It was a yellow poster and it was just him. And I'm like, really? This is a Spider-Man movie? What is this? And if you know me well enough, that's like out of character for me to not want to see an animated movie. I freaking love animated movies. They're my life. So to hear myself now looking back saying that I don't want to watch this movie was kind of weird. And then I just watched it because I was like, you know what? And I think at the time my boyfriend was getting me to watch the movie, and I said no a couple times, and I just took him because he finished his finals. I was like, I'll go with you. Came in blind, cried, sobbed like a baby. Immediately became my number one movie of all time. So
Awesome.
good. So good.
Yeah. I think
Nah.
it was Christmas time when it came out, right?
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was around
I
December.
remember. Yeah, I remember. So it was kind of funny because I just came from a Christmas party, right? So I was dressed up as Mrs. Santa Claus coming
Aw.
into the movie. No, I'm serious. I dressed up as Mrs. Santa Claus in the movie theater. I didn't change.
So good. Sorry, I have like
Mhm.
lipstick all over my teeth. Don't mind me while I fix it.
Jesus. Now for me, like same thing, Nadine. I'm like, I love Spider-Man, right? And I was already into Tom Holland Spider-Man, but I was like, an animated film. I'm like, why, right? And keep in mind, like Sony's track list of films of anime, it's some were hit and miss. I was like, why are you making this, right? And keep in mind, I'll be honest, I wasn't really a fan of Miles Morales before because I thought he was kind of overrated before. I was like, why? Because keep in mind, you look in the comics, he was kind of like arrogant. Like I did read him. Remember Captain America did not like him,
Mm.
Like remember, Captain America did not like him. He was trained by Steve Rogers.
Mm.
But thing is, he's like, well, you're so arrogant. Like the reason why we love Peter Parker because Peter Parker was very selfless and was able to like listen to what criticism.
Mm.
But he did he did again he did mature, right? But again, that's But I was like, Miles Morales. So I was like, okay, fine. So I watched in theaters. And I'm like, oh my god, they actually did Miles Morales right.
Mhm.
Like it's kind of funny. Like it's kind of funny. A lot of like the flaws from the comic books are being fixed on the movies. How you notice that? Like
Yeah.
again, like Civil War. Civil War was one of the worst storylines in Marvel history, almost
Mhm.
controversial, and yet they made it into a good movie that made sense.
Mhm.
Like No Way Home, No Way is basically Brand New Day, one of the most controversial Spider-Man comics, and yet they did right. So I'm like, now going back to this, I'm like, oh crap, Miles Morales is very likable. I was like, thank you. Whoever wrote this knows the fans' complaints about Miles Morales. So I'm like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mhm.
And
Uh,
Peter Porker. No, I'm
and
just
Peter,
kidding.
and they put Peter Parker. So I like about the.
Porker.
So again, when I watched this film, I was like, oh crap, this is really good. And keep in mind, believe it or not, I rarely watch films twice or like another round. I actually watched this film 2 more times in theaters.
Really?
Nice.
That's how I really love this film a lot, story
Oh.
wise and anything. This I'm like, damn, this film was basically a love letter to Spider-Man fans.
Mhm.
It was, and I'm like, I was thinking like they cannot top this. In my mind, I was like they cannot top until like 3 years later, but no, 4 years later.
know.
But again, that's another film we'll discuss another day.
Oh,
Tease,
so good. No, dude, I
but
feel you on that. Like, sorry to interrupt. I don't buy. I typically don't buy like movie DVDs or Blu-rays, especially when they come out, because I'm like, oh, they'll be on streaming services. I bought the Blu-ray and I
same here.
still watch it to
Is
this
it still
day.
on Netflix?
No, they took it
No,
off.
no, they took it out.
I'm so mad. So mad.
It's okay. It's okay. We have the DVDs. They don't
We
go away.
do. And the special features that come with it.
Exactly.
So
Not
good.
me.
So
I
good. Oh no, Jen!
It's
Get
okay.
it.
But you were saying, Nadine?
Oh no, that's it. I usually don't buy movies on like a solid tangible copy of the movies because they're just on streaming and I could just watch it once and never watch it again. But this, I needed to have it. Needed to have it.
Hmm. So again, now before this film came out, the Spider-Verse, the concept of Spider-Verse was very unique to fans. You're like, this is not gonna happen. This cannot happen until we saw Endgame. Until we saw Avengers Endgame, we're like, wait a minute. They mentioned, well, actually, no, well, Doctor Strange came out. They're like multiverse, huh? But again, it's just a little tease, right?
Yeah.
And then Endgame kind of explored more into it, but with time travel. So it's kind of coincidentally that 2018 was starting with 2016 up to 2018 was like now the multiverse coming in. Now today's media, multiverse is now a big concept in Hollywood,
Yeah, like Warner Brothers. Oh,
and it started with Doctor Strange because he hinted that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this film is basically it focuses on Miles Morales on the storyline. There's a lot of Spider-Mans here, like Penny Parker,
Noir
Spider Pig,
and
Porker.
Spider-Man Noir.
Spider-Man Noir. Oh, I love Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah.
And who else had it? Oh, and the
Gwen
original
Stacy.
Peter Parker, Benjamin Parker. Not the one
Yeah.
that
Not the one that
died.
died.
Not the one that died.
No. Peter B. Parker.
Peter B. Parker, which is basically inspiration from
version.
Tobey's Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But so this film focuses on Miles Morales and actually focuses a lot on Wilson Fisk's story. I'm actually glad that Wilson Fisk is the main villain in this movie, and also this film kind of was inspiration to, I think, was inspiration to Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, because same scenario. Spoiler alert! Like basically, Wilson Fisk wants to cross over to another universe to see his family because his family in this universe, in Miles' universe, died. So same thing with Wanda. Like he wants to see Billy and Tommy, right? But like, cause in her universe, they're not. They don't exist. Well, MCU 616. So I love like the fact of this film is, of course, responsibility, love, family, and also identity. So that's what I love about this film. But let me ask you guys this: like, what were your thoughts on Miles Morales in this movie? Starting with Jen.
Oh, okay. So for me, I like this. I like his character. You want to know why? Because he's like a new generation. Because we all grew up with Peter Parker. Miles Morales was something different. but at the same time he still had like his own personality. But he also, what I like about it is more like mentorship, right? Something that Peter Parker didn't really have is mentor, as is a mentor. But that's what made him different, right? It was a power of having someone, that was older than you, guide you through all these, obstacles that you're going through. I like Miles Morales because if you think about it, he is, I think, our generation's favorite character, or Spider Gwen. Personally, I would have liked it if it was maybe Spider Gwen, but I'm okay with Miles Morales being the main character just because he's the younger one. But yeah, that to me is a good idea just for the next generation, and also it's very marketable because there's a lot of kids that can look up to him and say, like that looks like me, and they can see, their inspiration. Same thing as Penny Parker. She's Asian. She's also an Asian superhero. I was kind of hoping Silk would be there, but that's okay. Also, another Spider-Man character I wish was there was Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099. The
He'll
really,
be
really old school one,
he'll be in
A lot of
sequel.
people don't talk about Spider-Man 2099.
Yeah.
He'll be in the sequel.
I hope so because Miguel O'Hara is Hispanic, and it was like way in like old time. His comics were really popular.
So
Yeah, didn't they
same,
make a cameo of him at the very end
Yeah.
of
Yeah, like at the very
Into the
end,
Spider-Verse? Yeah.
but nothing much really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold, guys. I do have some fact checking. Thank you, Justin. My bad.
I know. I read that.
My bad.
too.
How come Endgame? Oh, shit, it
Oh.
wasn't. It wasn't 2019. My bad.
Ooh,
So yeah, guys.
Oh,
checking you.
Fact check. I got
dang.
fact check. Damn it,
Thank
Justin.
you, Justin.
Damn it. Okay, okay, Pinoy Parker. Get out.
Pinoy Parker?
He is Pinoy Parker. That's his new nickname. I'm serious. He calls himself Pinoy Parker.
Oh, yeah,
kid you
because
not.
he's possibly the Spider-Man before.
Yeah, he's like, I'm Pinoy Parker.
Pinoy Parker. Oh my god.
How give
so
an idea
good.
of time travel to mainstream audiences?
If Spider-Verse
Yeah.
papers in 2018. No, he's right. He's absolutely right. So
Don't mess with
thank you, Justin.
But nothing much I can say for Miles Morales. I think Nadine, you're next.
Yeah, indeed. So the same with
Oh.
Miles Morales. Like how, what are your thoughts on Miles Morales being portrayed in this film?
First of all, I feel like Jen has already said some of my
Yeah.
but I'll elaborate. One of them being that he is a very refreshing point of view, a refreshing retelling of who Spider-Man is, because he's not, he has first of all, he has a family. His parents are both alive. He has an uncle who he looks up to. He has these realistic family dynamic that some people actually go through, of having an uncle that doesn't talk to his parents, but he's closer to the uncle because he can actually be himself around his uncle rather than like his dad. And it's a much more normal, quote unquote normal storyline to see because it's real, it's livable. I'm not saying that any of Peter Parker's experiences aren't real, because those are very much real, but it's been retold over and over again. Uncle Ben dies. Okay. Oh no. But when Uncle Aaron was shot, oh my god. Oh my, because the way that I watched the movie, I kept holding on to the uncle, to the uncle dying or somebody in the movie dying. I was like, okay, it's gonna be right here. No, it's not gonna be there. Okay, it's gonna be right here. The very second I let it go, that's when it happened. The rooftop scene. That's exactly when it happened, and it broke me to pieces. So anyway, back to the question of Miles Morales being portrayed. I like how he is portrayed. He has it's very realistic. That's really the only thing that's the biggest word I can just slap onto him. He's very realistic. He's growing up as a teenager, and he has these expectations he has to live up to, or he feels like he has to live up to, and he feels like somebody has to give him permission to be who he is, until his father literally tells him, listen, this spark that you have, it's amazing, that's why I push you, but it's yours, do what you want with it. And going back to the topic of mentorship, I love that it's Peter B. Parker in the state of life that he is. He's divorced. He is grown a gut. He basically has 0 to his name, and he's crying every day. Like, bro, those are some of the best people to learn from.
He's basically Toby Maguire Spider-Man. Like based
Yeah.
No,
on
but like
No, but
I like his intro. He's like, "Hey, I'm Spider-Man. You know me in the comic book, cereal. I did some weird stuff. I just saw a train. I had a girlfriend, wife. Now
mhm.
it's gone." I was like, "What the hell?
Yeah,
Like this is legit Toby
exactly.
Spider-Man."
It's like he doesn't just live in the happily ever after that we all know and love as
yeah.
Peter Parker. He literally goes through a divorce
No,
with
continuing with the mentorship, it's like they both learn from each other, the sensei and the student.
exactly. And it shows how much, like, I love the ending too when Miles is the one to finally let go of Peter when Peter doesn't want to go home. You
Mhm.
know, it's finally that student giving the master the lessons that he's given him. So it's very very refreshing to see that kind of dynamic between Spider-Men in period and seeing that kind of growth from a character that is Spider-Man, which is Miles Morales. That's why I love him so much.
Mhm.
hmm Now, okay, going to the film. So the film does go to the multiverse and does introduce some variant villains, such as like Doctor Octopus, which is like is a female. It's I think was she
Mhm.
voiced by Marissa Tomei?
No, it's the lady who played Agatha in WandaVision.
Oh
Hold on.
yeah, Agatha. Yeah, again, the happiest people are in like an MCU.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But going so the storyline does have like that's inspiration from some comic books. Example, like the Death of Peter Parker. This is what was an iconic, one of the most iconic Spider-Man storylines, and also controversial.
Mhm.
So it does, but the thing is, he was killed by Green Goblin in the comics. This one, he was killed by Wilson Fisk. So let me ask you guys this, because that storyline was very controversial in Spider-Man lore. Like, did you think they handled it right in this film when
So you're
using Wilson
talking
Fisk?
about Kingpin?
Yeah, Kingpin killing Peter Parker
Yeah,
for
I was
Miles
wondering
Morales
what you.
universe.
I was wondering what that was. Personally, I wish they did a better because in the comics, Kingpin's storyline is actually very dark and very very deep. You know what I mean? So I
Mhm.
would have liked it if maybe what you call it? It would have been like maybe like Kingpin, but like more of his story instead of his motive of just trying to revive back his wife and kid.
Yeah.
That's just me. I know some people don't like it, but I was okay with Kingpin
Mhm.
being like villain.
Like how you like I mean like how what were your thoughts on the Peter Parker storyline being adapted in this?
Um, I would say it's good. There's nothing much I can say about it, really. I will say this: I kind of wish they went through the Hobgoblin arc because that would have been super cool.
Mhm.
Because I'm for anyone who doesn't know, there isn't just Green Goblin. There's also like the Hobgoblin cult. I don't know if you've heard about
Oh yeah,
that.
Mhm.
I would have
right.
loved it if they had the Hobgoblin arc, but that's okay. That's just me. Nothing much I can say. I know some people don't, but I like it. I have mad respect for the storyline and the writers who literally, did a good job portraying these characters. Sometimes, in my opinion, I know it's gonna sound really stupid, but sometimes you don't have to be extremely correct when it comes to comics
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
movies. You don't have
Uh,
to be,
yeah.
and I'm okay
Sa-
with that. What
Same
about
thing
you,
with the
Nathan?
yeah.
I like that comment that you said right now that the movies don't have to accurately frame by frame be portrayed in the movies because I feel like with film you have more like you have the source material but you don't have to have everything in there because if you have everything in there you don't have time for what it is that you really want to show in the rest of the movie. So on that note, I liked Kingpin. He was very aggressive, but I loved having all these different villains be in one setting. So
Mhm.
if I just got tired of listening to Kingpin whining about his family, which is a dark storyline, I will say.
I know,
I
like
could
not to that, but like not just his, but like
Mhm.
if you look at way deeper into Kingpin's storyline, it is deep,
Yeah,
way deep,
so
and
deep.
it's honestly not even PG related. They really went deep with
Yeah.
Kingpin, but that's just me.
Daredevil Netflix series.
They
Yeah,
would
we,
literally have to
Oh,
go through Daredevil just to talk about
yeah.
but
Kingpin in
that's why I
the
was also kind of
entirety.
surprised they had Kingpin in there, just because
Yeah.
it's not very PG. If they, yeah, but anyways, that's
But
just
it is
me.
refreshing to have that kind of dark villain in this type of movie setting because we've seen everybody else with their motives and with their lives and such, but to see somebody like as dark and and dark-hearted as Kingpin is, be in this kind of a movie, it's a great contrast between between the villain and the original characters. But if I ever did got tired of looking at Kingpin and just getting pissed off at him, I could focus on somebody else. So it was great to have all these villains. Doc Ock specifically, my favorite. She's so
Okay,
good.
I have a question,
Doc.
18. From the
Mm.
comics, which arc would you have wanted
Oh,
them to
God.
be? Okay, Sinister Six, Hobgoblin, Colts, or what else? I forgot. There's a couple more, but I also like the Sinister Six villain arc. But that if I had to choose, that for me would be the Hobgoblin arc. What would
Mhm.
you have chosen in terms of villains?
I'm not very well versed in the comics. I'm sorry. So I don't have an answer for that. I'm sorry.
Really?
I don't.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm not very well versed in that. I'm sorry.
Okay, so now going to the next question for you
Mhm.
guys. Now, okay, so with Spider-Man's or Spider people in this film, like, did you think each of them had a time? Again, even though it's Miles' story, I know. I mean, actually, get back. Now, this film kind of introduced Spider Gwen into the limelight to the broad audience. What were your thoughts, and how do you think that this film portrayed Spider Gwen for
I'll let Nadine talk.
her first
Hmm.
theatrical like I say it like premiere or
Appearance, her
appearance
debut.
her debut, yeah. Nadine?
I oh man. And me personally, just having very little knowledge of the comics and just seeing what I saw in the movie, I feel like they did a great job with her. It does feel like she already has everything together. I would have loved a little bit of time for her to grow and to have some sort of character development. Like, yes, this is about Miles, but it is about all of them into the Spider-Verse and such. Same way that Peter B. Parker had growth by the end of the movie, I feel like she played a part in mentoring Miles as well. So I would have loved to see some growth from her. Maybe I'm just overlooking it because of how much to the front Peter B. Parker and Miles their relationship is. But yeah, that's really just the main comment I have is I wish there was more of a growth from her, but I do love her as a character, period. She's fantastic. She does have the grace of a trained dancer, and we love that. She's very versatile. She's a bad bitch, period. Point blank.
You mean Kate Bishop's?
Dude,
I
oh
love this
my
comment,
gosh.
Justin.
Sorry. You
Yeah.
guys didn't know, like, Spider Gwen's actually voiced by Haley Steinfeld, which is actually Kate Bishop in MCU. So.
Hell yeah, she is. I watched the behind the scenes earlier today, and Haley said something about, oh, getting to play a hero is one of my lifelong dreams, and getting to do it here. And I'm like, girl,
You're two Marvel heroes.
it's like you're literally Kate Bishop.
Yeah, you're legit two iconic Marvel superheroines.
Hell yeah, dude.
All right, same thing with
Aw.
Jen. Like, how do you feel this film tackled like Gwen's debut into the?
I'm surprised they didn't talk
Yeah.
about how Gwen's father died. You know how it's always that same thing.
Uh-huh.
Gwen's father died, yada yada. I'm surprised they didn't go in that part.
Mhm.
They kind of briefly mention it, but they didn't. Which is not. It's just fine. I like Gwen, but I kind of wish maybe she would have been the same age as Peter B. Parker. But I know they're not in the same universe. It's just that you know how her and Miles Morales are both the same age,
Mhm.
so it's kind of different. Just for me. I just think of when I think of Gwen, I think of her being the same age, being like a mentor. But I think it was not bad. I like seeing as how Gwen's a teenager in this
Mhm.
one, so she's also learning as well.
Hmm.
And plus, I like that scene where they got all sticky with each other. Him and Miles, her and Miles, cute.
Now this film does have. You know what's funny? This film does have is kind of parallel to also to No Way Home. Like No Way Home, there's 5 villains. This film has
Mm.
5 villains. We did mention Wilson Fisk. We did mention Doc Ock. We did mention Prowler. But there's also Scorpion, Tombstone.
Mhm.
Now let's discuss like how do you feel about Scorpion's debut in theatrical for Spider-Man?
Mm. I
Not
mean,
much to,
he
not
was
much to
only
say there for me.
he was only briefly there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So I
but
can't
still
really say.
Scorpion.
No, don't get me wrong. It's a cool character. Like those arms,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you call it. Nothing much I can say. I mean, he's a really cool character. I wish we get to see him in the next one. Let's see what
Mhm.
happens.
Spider-Man 4.
Wow, I don't
Mm.
know.
You,
Um,
it's so
do you know?
obvious. They did tease him in Homecoming.
Hmm, yeah, nothing much I can say.
Tombstone, he was also kind of like put in as like a henchman. I mean, he is a henchman. Well,
Yeah.
I'm kind of it's only my only complaints. Like, I wish he put Scorpion more in the limelight. Um, what's cool? What's also cool about it? He does speak Spanish, according to this Spark Pinoy with a fact checking Maximus version.
Oh, I love he's fact checking you.
He's like
Yes.
fact checking. Like, honestly, Tombstone, I wish he had a bigger role because in the comic books, even this '90s animated series, he was technically a big baddie.
Mhm.
But again, runtime. But I am glad that Wilson Fisk was the main villain for this one because it had the more emotional depth. He actually had a relatable villain, and Prowler. I'm glad he used the villain Prowler. Like, but is that also I like the fact that each Spider-Man has an experience to teach Miles Morales. Like the death
Mhm.
of his uncle, they're like, "Oh shit, no, yeah, this is gonna no." Like, hey, like we feel you. Our uncles or loved ones also died, but don't
Mhm.
do all revenge and shit because that's not the way. Don't
Yeah.
kill, don't kill. But we did talk about Peter Benjamin Parker more. Like, let me ask you this, guys. Like, what were your thoughts on his version being portrayed? Peter B. Parker as an actual loser that
Mm.
actually has like trauma.
I mean, I think everybody has their fall, you know?
Mm.
That's the truth. Nobody really is ever up. Sometimes we go down, but we still have to,
Mm-hmm.
it's never a linear movement. So I think that was good just because it gives you a realistic character of the movie. Just gives you a
Mm.
realistic thing that sometimes, you may be the superhero, but next you can go fall downhill.
Mm.
And that goes for a lot of villains if you think about it. Like a lot of villains, right? They have really good, at least Spider-Man villains, they have like really good, standing story, but then something bad happens and everything goes down the hill. Haven't you realized that? It's kind of like, so Peter B. Parker kind of reminds me of like how typical Spider-Man villains are, where everything just goes down the hill for them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Let me ask you guys another
Mm.
question, Nadine.
Mm.
Like, did you feel that this? Because remember, right? I don't think this is 2018, so I believe this say 2018. So like them, like Toby, Andrew, and Tom being together, I don't think that was a possibility. Do you think that they did this and Sony did this on purpose, putting like 'cause, Peter P.
Mm.
Parker was so similar to Toby Spider Man.
Mm.
Do you think they did that on purpose
Very.
to do a little tease or like experiment?
I feel like they probably did it to get ahead of getting all three of the MCU Spider-Man together. But they did it in a way, I feel like they did it in a fashion that nobody can touch because it's animated and it's a love letter to comic book fans everywhere. Like, hey, these are all your favorite comic book Spider-Man and Spider-Women in one movie. Enjoy. Oh, and by the way, we're coming out with another one. So have fun
And
watching this over and over again.
get that
Mm.
video game too for PS5.
Oh,
I need a PS5
so
still. I still have a
good.
PS5. I need a
I
PS5.
know, that was
So
probably,
good.
I will say that that's a smart marketing move for
Mhm.
so the fact that they did this and then afterwards, right, the movie and then afterwards the console game. I
And
can't
Far
get the
From Home.
console game though, but yeah.
I've seen gameplays. It looks so good. It's
I
so
know, but that's
beautiful
a
to see.
isn't that I will say that's a really good marketing move. I wish more movies would do that where it's like movie comes out and then next thing you know it um the video game comes out the next time. I mean, it's like
Mhm.
it keeps you, motivated. I wish more
Mhm.
movies, like for instance, if well, no, there was the Avengers game, but I'm gonna be honest, that Adventure game
Yeah,
was
it
very
sucked.
hard.
I played it. I
It's not
finished it.
bad. It's just a very hard game.
It's
Yeah.
no, it's redundant. That game is very redundant.
I
Mhm.
played it too.
It's,
Oh
it's
yeah,
like
also Justin
repetitive,
commented
redundant.
saying soon to be on PC. Spider-Man remastered must play. Okay, I
Yes.
might get it if I happen to get a PS5 or
So,
PC.
so here's the game, guys. Jen will get the game and then she'll cosplay as Silk and play it on stream here.
No, actually, more
Ooh!
okay. Honestly, not me, but our character, no, Thunder Chica, Noemi will do it.
Nah, it's gonna be you, Jen.
No,
You
no,
Silk.
You can
no,
do it,
Yeah,
Jen.
represent the
Believe in yourself.
represent the
no.
you'll be Panay's Silk.
Midnight
No.
Parker.
Good night, Parker. You gotta represent.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Oh my
so
goodness.
now, now let's talk about let's talk about also the other Spider-Mans. Spider-Man Noir, like how like Spider-Man Noir is also very popular. He's actually funny enough.
Mm.
He kind of got his like for me. Only found out about him like the Spider-Man 2099 game. I forget what was it like. Like or the it's like game where they introduced like Spider-Man going to like different multiverses.
Mhm.
Now Spider-Man Noir. How how like what were your reactions or what like reactions like how do you feel how they represented him, and he also voiced by Nicolas Cage.
Well,
As
I
much as
love
he
his
was a
voice.
serious character, I kind of saw him as comic relief because it was Nicolas Cage. But maybe that's just a personal thing because I'm just trying to see Nicolas Cage voicing this character, delivering the lines into someone that's so serious. But because Nick Cage has been a meme in my head the last 3 years of my life, I can't get it out. But him as a character, though, great, fantastic. Wish I knew more, but fantastic nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Jen? Spider-Man Noir. How you felt that they tackled his character in this
I
film?
will say I like how they actually made it comic book correct. You know how in the comics they gave him like a shower. They made it the same thing in Spider Verse. I would have thought they changed the animation a little bit, but I kind of like that though.
Mhm.
Okay.
You know,
Now,
nothing much. It's just kind of weird because Nicolas Cage isn't. I don't know. It's just weird because of his voice.
hey,
And
I'm Spider-Man Noir. That's right.
no,
I'm
but I
Spider-Man.
like it because like he fights Nazis, right? Isn't that
Mhm.
what his main? Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was
They're
around the time of
black.
the Nazis. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Mhm.
was also a spy. He was actually thinking of him as like a Spider-Man Batman because he was also a detective.
Mhm.
Yeah, so because of this guns and
Mhm.
but yeah, nothing much.
Yes, I forgot. Also, Chris Pine. Chris Pine also freaking was Peter Parker. That one died.
So
I
good.
forgot. Now let's talk about what's his name, Penny Parker. Now I wish she had more scenes, but damn, I loved her, especially the Spider Bot.
Hmm.
Now, Jen, I honestly I did I you did Penny Parker was in a comic book story that you read, right?
Yeah, and it was co-created by Gerard Way, the lead
Can
singer of
you
My Chemical
can you explain
Romance.
more of her
Let's
character in
yeah,
the
let's
comic books?
talk about that.
Because the thing
Yeah,
is,
by the way, he's an iconic character.
because I didn't know about her like till a movie came out. So this is why I like this movie introduced like the Spider-Man characters. I thought, wait, what? Who is this
Mhm.
person? So
I was
Jen, can
actually
you
kind of
explain who Penny
surprised
Parker
that they
is to
had a.
us?
So Penny Parker, she's like the new alternate version of Spider-Man. I like this because it was co-created by Gerard Way, or I think it and Jake Wyatt, and so he appeared in like the Edge of Spider-Verse, right, in the series, which is
Mhm.
only a cameo. Like she didn't have much, but I like how it kind of like she has the stereotypical um, Gundam
Robot.
pilot,
Robot.
yeah, robot thing. But I thought it was cool because it gave her own story in the Spider Verse series, right? I forgot it's called Spider Jadon. She's like she's like part of the kaiju Morbius.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. She's part of the Morbius franchise. There's nothing much about her because she's only like a glimpse. They like, for instance, she never had her own comics like Spider Gwen or
Oh.
like
Okay.
Miles Morales. So there's nothing much. She's only like kind of like just only made features in comics. So I'm kind of surprised that someone like Gerard Way's character was created and debuted in Spider-Man. Perhaps maybe they wanted to attract an Asian audience aside from Cindy Moon. I'm talking about like the like another audience where it deals with kaiju's and like her universe what you call it version of like the dark. It's really weird,
Mhm.
but yeah.
Okay.
But overall, the reason why I love Penny Parker was because I've met Gerard Way and I love My Chemical Romance, and I'm also gonna watch Umbrella Academy season 3.
I need to catch up. I'm still in season
I know
two,
I
like episode 5.
no, I'm
It's
actually,
good.
what, you just reminded me. Right when I'm done with this podcast, I'm gonna go watch it.
All right. All right.
She'll just turn it off and then leave to go watch.
Also,
Yeah.
want to say this. I'm glad they brought Spider Ham here. I'm
Oh,
really
hell
glad they brought
yeah.
Spider Man here. Spider Ham.
No, it's
Now he's
Peter
basically
Porker. Excuse
Peter
me.
Parker. He's basically like the comic relief. I mean, they're all comic, but he's
Mhm.
like more the comic relief. Like, hey, come on,
Mhm.
Spider Man. Like,
Mhm.
so I'm actually glad they did bring him here. Now let's talk about the multiverse. Now this film like kind of introduced. Well, I didn't mention it, but how did you like, in your opinion, how do you feel that the writers tackled the multiverse for this film?
Hmm.
Because this is a concept that no one has ever seen in a
Mm.
movie theater. Well, I think it was referenced, but no one's seen in full
Can
scale.
I compare it to?
Do it.
Okay, so
Superior?
because in Spirit Spider-Man, because Dan Slott's the king, the goat.
I would not say that, but okay.
I'm joking. I love it.
I
I
would
love
not say that, but again,
Ooh.
Steve
he's the
Ditko.
one. No, I'm joking, but I'm joking. I'm just saying he's a good comic. He's the one that introduced the Edge of Spider-Verse comic, but
Yeah.
he in his storytelling, it was more like the spider. I forgot what they're called. They're called like the spider cult. So basically, they travel in their storyline. They travel to multiple Spider Verses, multiverse, and they eat the spider. Like they eat Spider Man, basically spider superheroes, because because in the comics they have this thing on their neck which is like superpowers, and so when they eat the Spider-Man and like kind of consume them, they gain superpowers. So that's what they've been doing. And then there's this character called Master Weaver who is like the spider, what's it called, the Spider Verse wave of time. So I thought it would have been cool, but I think the reason why they didn't go with that Spider Verse concept that Dan Slott had went through is because it's too darn long. And on top of it, it's kind of sadistic knowing that like these vampire looking cults, right, who eat Spider-Mans or spider superheroes, because how they eat them is they eat them from the neck, because
Ooh.
allegedly, like when you get bitten by those Ultra Spider-Man, they have like this thing on their neck that causes them to, that if you take a bite, kind of like similar to Attack on Titan, you gain.
I was
their-
gonna say, I was like, that sounds
yeah,
like Attack
I'm
on
serious.
Titan, bro.
So I think I like it. I like the way they approached it compared to what Dan Slott approached, which is basically fighting back against these spider people eating monsters. So overall, I like it just because Kingpin. Maybe it could have been not so much Kingpin. Maybe it could have been the Green Goblins or the Sinister Six to kind of
I
like
kind
mess
of
things up.
glad going to your. I kind of glad that they kind of didn't do that, because we would not have our own version of a not so Sinister Six style in No Way Home.
Because that's the new villains in the Spider-Man arc and the Edge of Spider-Verse is basically these people just eat spiders and
Okay.
you're trying to stop them. That's how the Spider-Verse was multiverse was introduced in Dan Slott's comic. So this one's different. I like it. I like it better just because it's an iconic Spider-Man villain instead of new villains arriving.
All right. Well,
There you go.
technically, Fisk is a Daredevil villain, but of course, he was more in Spider-Man's world because of the '90s animated series. Remember Wilson Fisk? I don't know if you guys watch '90s animated show. You guys haven't? All right, so Nadine
No.
and Jan, you gotta do some homework. It's in Disney Plus now. It's all there. That's okay. I'll be honest. That film is the reason why a lot of people in our generation was introduced to Spider-Man. It's like the X-Men animated show. But okay, now going same question, Dean. Like, how you feel how this film tackled the multiverse,
I feel
or
like it
showed
was
us the concept of multiverse?
I just feel like it, like being a normie, being the normie of the group today, and not knowing much about the comics. It's a great door to open the idea of the multiverse to someone like me who doesn't really know much about it. It gives me the time and the space to think about all the different parallel Spider-Man and Spider people across the multiverse. So it makes me wonder, like, oh, what, like, are how many versions of Spider-Man really are there? So it was very brief how they talked about how they talked about the multiverse in general, but how they introduced it, it was kind of smooth. It didn't they didn't go into it that much. I think, again, don't know much. I don't know details. I don't know deep details like that, but just from what I've been introduced to, it's a good door to start wondering about all these different multiverses, all these different universes that Spider-Man which exists in. So
Okay.
there you go. Yeah.
Right. So that pretty much wraps up my questions, and we kind of talked a lot of stuff about it. Well, Mary Jane, of course, Mary Jane was here. Some cameos. Now, only thing I wish they actually did put, maybe we might see in the sequel. Well, first off, I like the fact that they brought back for a cameo the original 1960s anime Spider-Man voice actor. Remember we did the meme, like who?
Yeah.
And also Miguel O'Hara being teased. Well, no, wait, was he teased? Oh yeah, he was teased.
Well, just a little bit when he did this.
Yeah, and Oscar Isaac too. which is actually Moon Knight. Now let's go to the comments section. Michael Brogdon doesn't have the album download. Yeah, let's talk. Wait, we didn't talk about. Let's talk about the
Oh,
song, the music, the music. We
soundtrack.
didn't. The soundtrack.
Oh,
Post Malone's
Bay.
Sunflower. That is
I-
a legit. This is like the main legit. There's keep in mind, guys. There's like a lot. It's very rare where a song will talk about me. Like we have Top Gun, like Danger Zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like The Bodyguard, I Will Always Love You, Whitney Houston. And there's a lot of stuff, but
Yeah.
like you hear Sunflower, you automatically think, oh shoot, that's from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the music and the soundtrack. Go, starting with Jen.
Oh.
Oh, which one? The one with Sunflower or what else?
Sunflower and also the music in Spider-Man in general. In
Oh,
this
I
movie.
love it. You know what I really like about the music was like, you know how there's that one scene where I forgot Miles Morales is like trying to run away, like you know how in the station. I love the music. I like that soundtrack. I forgot it. It's not the music, but it's like that scene. That scene was really nice.
Mhm.
I love Sunflower. Good music. Nothing much I can say. I mean, aside from Sunflower, a really good song I liked from there was Start a Riot. That one was
Mm.
also cool.
So
Yes.
good.
But yeah, that's it for me. What about you,
But
Nadine?
yeah.
Oh. Okay. Buckle up, kids. I have a lot to say about the music.
Oh wow, she's
I
gonna be
have a
like,
lot.
I want to see the.
She
I
has a
bet you-
lot.
did you actually buy the album? The vinyl cover? I'm just kidding.
It's called we have this thing called Spotify Premium. And I downloaded it offline. First of all. Okay, first of all, I'm going to reference a video that y'all should watch. It's from Sideways and they talk about the music of Into the Spider-Verse, which I am still obsessed with to this day. But basically, the TLDR of it is the mix of the score versus the mix of the soundtrack in the movie. It is relational to Miles Morales' character development because the hip hop soundtracks, the song, yes. Sorry if I was speaking,
Yeah, I know.
but the songs, like the iconic soundtrack that they created for the movie, that's who Miles. That is a representation of who Miles really is. This Brooklyn kid who loves hip hop, grew up on classic hip hop music, but then you have the movie score in which it's iconic it's iconic for movies and superheroes to have their own soundtrack. I mean, you have na for Batman. But okay, no, but for real, like you have iconic soundtracks and theme songs for different and themes and motifs for different superheroes. You have you have one for Superman, you have one for Batman, you have one for, does Green Lantern have one? I don't know, but he probably does. You have one for Spider-Man,
Spider-Man.
Anyway, so now with again the theme of great expectations with Into the Spider-Verse, the mix of Miles Morales' hip hop music with this 3-note motif that is played throughout the movie, it kind of clashes with who Miles is as a person and as a kid that's growing up into his powers. And the only time that it has ever, that this iconography of music that is tied to heroes versus the music that Miles loves and who makes him as a person, the only time that they have ever been beautifully clashed and finally mixed well together is when he took that leap of faith. If you watch it again, what is it? What's Up Danger was playing, and then there was that 3-note motif that's playing in the background. So that's the moment when Miles finally, it's an audible representation of when Miles finally embraced his power as Spider-Man and became who he needed to be to become the Spider-Man that he was meant to be. Like, he wasn't any of the Parkers, any of the other Spider-Man people. He was just Miles Morales as Spider-Man. And the music perfectly executes that.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna be listening to it, so thanks.
As
You
you
show off.
should. You're
Show off
welcome.
again. Jen, you show it off.
Oh, sure.
So good.
Screenshot.
Screenshot.
Let's do it again.
Screenshot it.
This is our screenshot. Show again, Jen. Let's do it one more time.
Well, it's
Smile guy.
kind of has a blur.
All right, now let's go continue.
Okay.
Now, all right, guys. Now we're going to comment section. Thank you guys for waiting, and we have a lot of comments. Okay, Jake Gonzalez. I expect this will lead to a spider war with symbiote. Ooh. Oh wait, well actually no. Go back. I skipped it. He's answering this question. How would you like to do? Well, they kind of
Yep.
did it with
Yeah.
No Way Home. But if you want to say Spider Verse, how this film could connect with it, they could, but it's gonna take a while
Mhm.
because the multiverse concept in MCU is still happening, right? It's still being fleshed out, which I believe Secret Wars. But again, like let me ask you guys this: like, how if
Wow.
I would do a live action Spider Verse for the MCU, I would do it like have these people come in, right? The anime, and keep in mind, you watch Multiverse of Madness. Remember you saw the cartoon version of the multiverse?
Speaking of which, is on Disney Plus now.
It's in Disney Plus now. Oh, yes, in Disney Plus now. Look, like when America Chavez and Doctor Strange are going through the multiverse. You see, there's like a little cartoon universe.
Mhm.
So I had to make if I do my own Spider Verse, I would say it would lead up to a Spider War, like similar to Web of Shadows, like Spider-Man game, where it's all a symbiote. Yeah, because the thing is, you get all the Spider-Mans there. You need something a big threat to the universe, and I would say a Spider War with the symbiotes. I think I forgot. There's like a symbiote god. I forgot his name, but that's why I would do it. How about you guys?
Oh, I'll start. I would do it exactly like Dan Slott. I would have Morlun and the Inheritors literally eat all the spider superheroes,
So
and then
MCU vampires with
yes,
Blade.
I'm serious. They're basically Morlun's a vampire technically. He just eats all the superheroes, and yeah, and then they all work together to fight back against the Inheritors.
Okay, how about you, Nadine?
Oh, I'm very biased. I'm very biased to my animated film, so I wouldn't know how to. I wouldn't know how to do that without losing all my biases. So I'll pass.
Well, I mean, like here's the thing. The thing about
Mhm.
multiverse is you can't
Mhm.
overflesh it, but at the same
Of
time
course.
make it
Yeah.
very like good. Because how do I say it? Sometimes
Mhm.
when you overdo it, then you kind of lose the story of like the variant of that other character, right?
Mhm.
That's my issue. Sometimes, like for instance, I think in No Way Home they did a good job with Andrew Garfield's character.
Oh, so
You
Yeah, they
know,
good.
redeemed him. They redeemed him.
because I'm
Mhm.
not gonna like I'm not saying that the Amazing Spider-Man was bad, but I kind of wish he had a better, you
Story arc.
know,
Story arc.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like I wish he had a better story arc. So I'm glad they redeemed him. So that's my thing is you can't over flesh it out with multiverse. Do it in a sense where like you're not gonna ruin the variant character, not the main character, the variant character. You know what
Mhm.
I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It also gets convoluted the more that people talk about it,
Yeah.
the more that they want to try and adapt it. It really gets muddy and messy at some point. And so it's like do it to your heart's content, but know that there is a stopping point and listen to that stopping point if they ever do decide to do a live action Spider-Verse for the
Yeah. Do you think they
MCU.
did a good job with Andrew Garfield in No Way Home?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I
They
think so.
did.
They made him a very, very loving and lovable character. And rewatching his Spider-Man movies, I did not appreciate him enough at the time because I don't know, man. At the time, the idea of another similar Peter Parker story, I was like, this is weird. This is kind of sus.
Mhm.
All right, I'm sticking with Toby for now. But they did do him the great emotion, being the most emotionally in touch out of the three of them, I'd like to think, because
Yeah,
he
like
already lost Gwen.
because thing is, Toby was the more like he taught. He basically thought he taught taught he taught Tom Spider Man like
Mhm.
responsibility,
Yeah.
right? Like don't be afraid, and then
Mhm.
he taught Andrew taught the like emotion, like you need to control your emotions,
Yeah.
right? Because he also had a trauma, so that's what I liked
Mhm.
about No Way Home.
Yeah.
Now going Spider Verse. Oh well, actually that continues this one. Follow-up question to this question. I expect this will lead with a symbiote god. So it's actually Null. I was actually my phone. So in the comic books, Null's actually a symbiote god. Like he's the one to create all the symbiotes.
Yeah.
And there was a game called Web of Shadows where like all the symbiotes took over New York City. Basically the whole like New York City was quarantined because they didn't want it to spread out to the planet. So they could do something like that for like a grand finale. You could have all basically end game tell Spider Verse thing. Because you're gonna do like a Spider Verse film with all these Spider Mans, like especially with this, like yeah,
Mhm.
technically this is part of the MCU now. Technically could be.
So
Technically,
does that mean Childish Gambino is also an MCU character?
Yep,
he has
he
been.
has. Yeah, he's
Oh,
He's
legit.
literally Uncle Aaron in
He's Uncle
Homecoming.
Aaron in
okay.
Homecoming.
And he
Got,
hinted that
He
he
hinted
has
my
he
nephew.
has a nephew that
okay.
lives in this neighborhood, and he just wants Spider-Man to have guns away from the neighborhood or something.
Exactly.
So he
Yeah.
technically is canon in the MCU.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be in this. Yes, it's actually Disney Plus UK.
They get
Too bad I'm not. We're not in UK.
This way
lived in
Jen.
the UK for a week.
This way Jen. Follow advice from Nadine and I. Get the DVDs.
Okay, I'll get it. I like this comment. Aaron Davis equals Lando.
Let's see. How would? Oh, you got that. We did that. We got that already. Like going down.
Don't mess with Pinoy Parker. I can't.
Shut up, Justin. I agree. Miles is.
Can't.
I agree. Miles the bread for sure. And yeah, I do agree. I do agree. I do agree.
Mhm.
Oh, good question, Seth Martinez. Thoughts on Spot as the main villain in the second film. So you guys didn't know, or you guys don't know that one of the Spider-Man's most actually not least known main least known villains, the Spot is actually the main villain for Spider-Verse 2. You guys don't know Spot's actually a villain that showed up in the 80s, 70s. Again, fact check me, but he was actually prominent. He was famously prominent in the animated series, the 90s one, where he can actually go through dimensions. So
Really?
thoughts on Spot? I guess you know what Spot is.
I don't know. Here's the thing. Like that's such an old character that I'm just like, huh. I'm
Not
kind of
really.
surprised. For me, I would have thought maybe Carnage would have been the villain, but that's okay.
But you know Spot or
I know him now, but knowing that he's an older
I don't know
character,
this
I
one,
wonder.
though.
Yeah, I wonder how they're gonna refresh him into becoming something like new, like a new character, because he's been so far gone, not so far gone, but he's been told so far back into the timeline. I wonder how they're gonna refresh and rebrand him, I guess, into a villain and reintroduce him to the world. That's my biggest concern, knowing what I know now about him.
Okay.
I like the way he looks, though.
Yeah, like you guys don't know again. Nadine, Janice, watch Spider-Man animated series 90s in Netflix, Disney Plus. Do it.
Fine, I'll go watch it.
Do your homework, girls. I mean,
Noted.
do it.
What if I don't want to?
do it? It's your destiny. I was kidding. Oh my god. Anyway, watch Obi-Wan Kenobi, guys. It's really good. This finale's great. Just kidding. Anyway, but yeah, let's see this. Edge of Time. Oh yeah, the game was Edge of Time, where Spider-Man 29 was prominent, and then why not have Web of Life be this? Oh yeah, and came with Madam. So you guys know Madam Web's like gonna have her own solo film, which of course Dakota Johnson is gonna be Madam Web.
Wow.
So I think I don't know if it's rumors or not. It is a multiverse film. It is a multiverse film because Madam can go through the multiverse. Actually, believe it or not, yeah, you guys should watch Spider-Man animated series because Spider-Man animated series in the 90s first introduced the multiverse to general audience. Like their finale is called Secret Wars or Spider Wars, where they actually had Spider-Mans from a lot of dimension. They even had a Spider-Man that was actually from Hollywood, from our dimension. Like spoiler alert, they're like, oh, where are you from? Oh, I came from a Spider-Man where movies. And legit, believe it or not, in the last episode, it's like who's your boss? I'll show you right now. It was actually Stan Lee. Stan Lee was in the finale episode.
So funny.
He's like, wait a minute, you're a character, you're just a movie star. It's like, no, I'm the real Spider-Man. And then Stan Lee's, and you see in the comic book, like in the final episode, like his eyes were tearing. I was like, oh my god, I actually made a real hero.
Aww.
Yeah, you need to watch an episode, the finale. Type in Stan Lee 90s animated Spider-Man. That's gonna tear you up.
That's so sweet. That's
And plus
so
his-
meta, but that's
Plus,
so
his
sweet.
wife is actually Madam Web, voice Madam Web in the 90s. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So let's see. Andrew Garfield is the GOAT.
Goated actor in general. Oh my
He's
god.
GOAT actor. Of all the three, I had to pick him as the best actor, but best Spider-Man. Best Spider-Man. It's still hard to decide. I like them both, but I cannot choose best Spider-Man because I like them both. But best actor, yes. Yep. See, like that 90s animated show. He was a villain that both Spider-Man team had to defeat. See?
Yeah.
He'll be voiced by Jasper. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Yeah, just you didn't know that, did you? Did you know that like Stan Lee was in the finale episode of the Nice Show?
Now you make me want to watch those 90s show.
You
But
watch
there's
it. It's you know what's funny? Like a lot of the I'll say this. A lot of Toby's movies had influence from the Nice Animated Show.
Okay. I was too young. Sorry, I didn't watch it.
So yeah, you're older than me, Jen. I watched Fox Kids when it was a bomb back then. It was the bomb.
No, because
1994 to
if there's one thing I
1997.
wish they could bring back. I know there's like movies because Marvel movies. I wish
And
they
it's
could bring
all in
back more
Disney Plus.
comics. Like I wish they could bring back like animated cartoon series, not just live action.
Yes. Because I remember in
What
the
was
90s
the one
animated
that?
film, it had Shocker. Basically, all the only thing they didn't include was, I think, Sandman. Yeah, they didn't include Sandman. So,
No, just because how back then like superhero movies were popular as cartoon series.
hmm
I wish they could bring that back.
I mean, you guys watch new Spider-Man series on Disney XD or Disney something?
Oh, I
That's don't watch.
Oh,
That's crap.
the new
no,
one.
The new
I
one,
cringe.
one.
I'm sorry, but that one
No,
made me
that's crap.
cringe.
No,
I
you
forgot
guys.
about that. I
If
forgot
I had
that
to
it.
go, you're my top three Spider-Man shows you should watch for animated. Actually, deal with Spider Verse stuff is animated 90. Well, no, fine. Top three is gonna be my top three is gonna be number one, Spectacular Spider-Man. That's the goat. Spider-Man. I'll watch it every day. I wish there was a season three. Come on Disney, make it. Continue the storyline. 90s animated show, and also you guys. I don't know if you guys remember the MTV Spider-Man animated show. Ah, you guys didn't know that. Where what's his name? Like who voiced Spider-Man? What's his name? He's the guy from hold up. Neil Patrick Harris. Neil Patrick Harris voiced Spider-Man.
Really?
Yeah, in the MTV's animated show.
Oh, I
Ah, you
didn't
guys
know
didn't know that, did you?
Well, for me, if I want jokes and giggles, this is not really animated, but I will watch the Japan Spider-Man just for the giggles.
There is a Japanese Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man.
No, but
Spider-Man.
like for me, like because there isn't a lot of cartoon series or animated series, so like Japan Spider-Man is pretty funny. I recommend that.
No, I think it's in YouTube. Well, I don't know. I can't. Yeah, it's Spider-Man. You know, it's funny. Spider-Man's actually one who influenced the Power Rangers. Get it? The
Mm.
robots. He had a Megazord. He had a spider car. I'm like, what the
To a
hell?
certain extent, but the Power Rangers came way before Spider-Man, did it?
No, no, no. So no. So Spider-Man, the Japanese one, came before
Oh,
Power Rangers, and that influenced Super Sentai. And Super Sentai
oh,
became Power Rangers because Stan Lee wanted to adapt. Well, no, it came during Stanley wanted to adapt. Stanley wanted to adapt Jetman
oh.
as a first Power Ranger thing, but it didn't happen because rights. So he instead put Spider-Man, make it his own, and it was a big hit. So guys, I recommend watch the Japanese Spider-Man live action. It's really good.
Yeah, it's really funny.
And plus, Japanese and Mary Jane was my crush.
Oh,
But
She was
she was
pretty.
waifu.
She was my waifu. And he had a spider car. She rode spider car, a spider mobile, and a spider megazord.
I'm about to look this up. Actually, I have been looking them up.
Spider Man. I wish. Actually, this is my wish. I wish in the next Spider Verse film, they include Spider Man.
I doubt it
They
because
should. No, like so you're watching this. I don't give a shit. Like you're watching this. Have the actor who played Spider Man back have a cameo. You got the '90s, '60s animated show like voice actor back. Bring Spider Man back. 'Cause I
what
want
you
to see
want
a,
me to do that funny ass
Anything is
pose?
possible with
I
Sony.
want to see you posing like that. Like that. I want to
God,
see a Spider Man Megazord in the.
Nadine, just watch Japanese Spider-Man and you'll understand why because
I'll under.
it was literally the poses, everything was out like on the top.
Yeah, I was on top. Legit, his posing is actually the best posing. I have to. I'll say this. This is a hot take. His posing is actually better than the live action movie Spider Man. It's like legit
Yeah,
how he poses is so good.
Hold
Yeah.
up, hold up, hold up. Is it the 616 Japanese Spider-Man?
Yes.
yes.
It apparently it's on Disney Plus, so I'm gonna watch it.
Oh well,
It's
well,
hilarious.
that's a
Is it?
documentary. It's a documentary.
No. Okay. Anyway,
But we'll watch it though. You'll see how it was
I will
prominent.
search the entire internet for it because I need to see this now.
Like his
Yeah.
posing, it's like legit. Like how he poses is like, whoa, damn, that's actually like really good.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, whew, it was a fun podcast. But again, so that's the
This
comments.
is very
That's all the
fun.
comments. But again, so guys, before we go, Jen, where can we find you?
You can find me on TikTok, GMC2, and you can find me on Instagram at Jen Messina. That's GNMSEENA. Mesina. Nadine, where can they find you?
Thanks,
It's like,
Jen. Y'all can find me at
Oh, thank you. I didn't know I had a
oh
banner.
wow.
yeah, and then
See, we
look for
got plugs. We got plugs.
kind of
Y'all
look for
can find me
ingredients.
at Nadinosaurus everywhere you can. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Coffee, and Twitch, where I live stream. Well, actually, I'm taking a break from streaming this week because I have gigs to be a part of. But you
Ooh.
will find me on Twitch next week. So find me everywhere at Nadinosaurus. Spelled right
Cool,
here.
cool, cool. You can find me on Instagram, dancerboy247. I wonder my thing. Oh, yeah, it's here. And if you like Power Rangers, please follow us at the Morphin Network. And the Buttery Show. So, future podcast on Friday. Me and Pinoy Spider Man. I called you out, Justin. And Marvin will be discussing the last 2 episodes of Obi Wan Kenobi. Go watch it. The finales. Oh my
Oh,
god, the finale. Ugh! Thank you, Disney. Thank you so much for everything. So, oh, I guess not gonna run. Okay, my audio was like crazy. The force is strong with it. That's kidding.
The force is too strong with it.
All right, guys. So yeah, and then next week will be surprise. I won't say now, but next podcast will be surprising. But wink, wink. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you soon. And again, watch your Buttery Show. You guys like and subscribe. Keep your eyes peeled. Oh yeah, I'll reveal it. So you guys didn't know. And here, real Justin was actually an Obi-Wan. That's right, Justin.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's actually in the final episode.
Wow, we have a celebrity in the house.
Yeah, we have a squad member that's actually in the Star Wars universe.
Don't forget us when you're famous.
Yeah, don't forget you're famous. He's gonna be like, yeah. I was part of this gig called Buttery. It's kind of like this miniature podcast game. Love you, Justin. Right, guys. Again, this is the Buttery Show. We're signing out. See you guys next time. Bye.
Thanks for watching.